Daylight, my MVVs, welcome. They said Ebony broke down in tears as little virgin priestess declared Ebony is a stranger. Her part is not in Ife, but Oyo. That in 11 months she will be removed from the palace of the Ooni of Ife. That was what this virgin priestess had revealed that day. And they said this is something that has affected a lot of people and even Ebony. Ebony is so saddened over that information because it's almost as though it was coming from the mouth of the deity that they went, to appease. That was how it sounded. It was coming from a very young girl's mouth, but it was sounding so heavy with an older woman's voice. The voice was so like authoritative, and that thing that happens where maybe people are being delivered in church, you hear maybe a man's voice coming out of a woman. They said it was something like that was happening. They said everybody is worried over what happened. Now, this young priestess, they said she has never, ever, ever prophesied before in her life. That was the first time she prophesied, that they had to use Ebony to open her mouth to speak. The Olokun festival this year brought not just tradition and celebration, but a thunderous revolution that has shaken the entire palace, okay? The entire spiritual and royal, corridors of the Yoruba land. What was meant to be a day of reverence to the sea goddess turned into an emotional reckoning, especially for Ebony, okay? As that shocking prophecy was delivered by, such an unlikely source, a girl who doesn't even talk. They said this girl is so difficult for her to talk. When she was born, she was kind of dedicated to Olokun, and she's been very unique. She's somebody who is growing up with a very unique personality. You would tell that there is something more to that Adesewa than that meet the eyes, okay? And they said that day began beautifully, okay? I don't know if that Olokun thing was day before yesterday or yesterday, or if it's still ongoing today, but they said that it began beautifully. It was, shining. The wave of the Atlantic simmered with a divine glow, and the people were in high spirit, dressed in white as usual, signifying purity and the spirit of Olokun. The crowd gathered at that sacred river bank where rituals were to be held. High chief, palace dignitaries, special leaders, and many members of the public were all present. They said, in fact, everybody was there when this thing happened. And it's not only the level of embarrassment this brought on Ebony, but the fact that such was being revealed, okay? Ebony was there looking all elegant and, radiant and graceful. Of course, you know how she can look, okay? With so much confidence, okay? She stood sure of her place, not just in the palace, but in the hearts of people. But there was tension in the air. The elders had warned that the gods were restless. The wave had been unpredictable all week, and the wave, usually before they go for this festival, they will visit. They don't do the festival in one place. Sometimes they go to Lagos, they go to all of this river bank, okay? Now, a week before the festival, there are people who predict the wave of the sea and all of that. But this time, they had a very, a pool-like stuff that they use, okay? They said it was close to the river bank, though, but they had to use this pool-like space, okay? And they said there were predictions that the gods did not seem really receptive as they will always do. These traditional people will always know how things are supposed to be, okay? Because they understand how they operate and all of that, okay? So as they were going on, they said there was, a ritual dance, okay? among the young maidens devoted to Olokun, okay, virgins, trained in purity and ritual performance. They perform this sacred movement to invoke the spirit of the sea, okay? Among them was a girl, another girl again, that said this time is 17, barely known to many, named Mobolaji, okay? The name is Mobolaji. Where I got this information from, they gave me because I was asking about the names of these girls and all of that. So this very young virgin, this second one, the first one what is named Adesewa. Then the second one now named Mobolaji. She had trained for 5 years under the guidance of an elderly priestess and was known for her quiet obedience and spiritual sensitivity. She had never, been to this city before for this festival, okay? And so they brought her. But midway through the performance, Mobolaji stopped, her eyes widened, she gasped and clutched her chest. The drum slowed. A few people noticed then. Suddenly her body dropped to the ground again, but she did not faint. She began to shake, to cry, to speak again. She was no longer speaking as Mobolaji. This is another one, the soft-spoken girl. Her voice was bold, ancient, almost masculine. Everyone froze. That is what we are hearing. This is the second one, not Adesewa. She does not belong, okay? The voice rang out, pointing directly at, Ebony. Ebony is a stranger. Her path is not in Ife. That was what came out. That Ebony is a stranger. Her path is not in Ife. That was exactly what came out. They said, the crowd tore out. The high priest stood still. Ebony stunned, looked around nervously. Her attendants moved towards her protectively. Mobolaji continued, her words clearer and firmer. She was not chosen by spirit. She forced her way through charms and shadows. She took what was not hers. She would have been great in Oyo. She would have been great in Oyo. The people could hardly believe what they were hearing. Mobolaji was still on the floor, shaking as if held by an invisible force. Her eyes did not blink, fixed directly on Ebony, okay? You laugh when the true queen wept. You mock the one Olodumare anointed, Queen Naomi, the spirit are angry, the spirit are crying, and the waters have listened to her cry, okay? Olokun listened to her tears, okay? This is what they said the girl was saying. They say, Sango, listen. Oya, listen. Olokun, listen. You dance on sacred grounds with unclean feet. They said that was what the girl was saying. And now the ancestors will dance over your name. Did you hear that? They said that girl was saying she dances on sacred ground with unclean feet. But now the ancestors will dance over her name. Then came the part that silent chills through everybody's spines. They said the girl said in 11 moons, that the girl was saying is in 11 moon, not months that they call moon, okay? In 11 moons, she will be gone. That is in 11 moons. Ebony will be gone from the palace, from Ife, stripped not by man, but by the will of the spirit. Her seed will shake, her allies will scatter, the crown she fights to hold will reject her, her time is short. They said that was what the girl spoke about. Mobolaji began to cry bitterly, not as herself, but still under trance. I warn you, daughter of the soft moon, but you did not hear. Now the gate will close, the wind will carry your name away, and it will be Queen Naomi that the throne remembers. They said this lady, Mobolaji, continued. The entire crowd was in shock. Some wept, some began to pray. Others stood up and left quietly, unwilling to witness the fall of a queen in public prophecy. They said it was a very ridiculing situation for Ebony, and two priestesses. This year's Olokun festival did not go well at all, as these two priestesses, fell into trance, and they revealed this whole thing. Right now, they are trying to see how they can do rituals to appease, Olokun and all of that. This is what we are hearing. If the information is true, do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.